local apps like this make $40,000 a month. Well, let's take a look at this app. If we see the revenue here by Sensor Tower, it says that it did 30K last month. And if we go to the publisher, their revenue is $40,000 for last month. So how are they doing it? I followed this TikTok a while ago, and it seems like a normal, relationship advice TikTok. As you scroll through it, you have actually quite good content on here. But if we go over to the last slide, at the 5th one we have content, and we see the app mentioned, Vent Now. And if we take a look at the account, everything that they post is related to the Vent app. So you'll see some of his thought posts making millions, but of course not every post will get popular. Like, you see these last ones have like 1,000 views, but they still get plenty of sage and likes, as we can see here when you see the app mentioned, Vent Now app here. So yeah, essentially this account basically promotes the Vent Now app and gathers myriads of views. This isn't the only account, by the way. I've gathered some screenshots here from other accounts, and most of them are AI generated. You wouldn't think so, but take a look at this, for example. I think these are all AI. For example, this one's promoting something else, but this character is AI. Same with these. They all promote a link on their bio. So how do you actually create these? There's 3 ways you can do that. You can either create the slideshows with your own content, but maybe in some cases the ad that you're promoting doesn't fit your profile as an influencer. So you might go for the other options. Another good option is Pinterest, and I wrote here, don't use Google search. I'll show you why. So let's say we want to make a slideshow like this. So let's search for this image, for example. If we run a Google search, you'll see it's pretty much flooded with like stock assets and things that kind of look fake, that don't really look authentic. You get some Instagram results here and there, but Pinterest is a lot more powerful for this. So let's go over to Pinterest. So these are instantly much better. But again, you probably don't want to use most of these images. These might be copyrighted, and the author might have rights to them. You only want to use this as a reference for your AI to generate singular images. So that's one way to do it. Alright, so the third way with AI. We can actually use a tool where we can feed the link of a really successful TikTok post, and we can generate hundreds of variations for our own map. Let me show you how it works. First, we gotta log in into SocialClaw. I'm gonna log in with my account here, and we're gonna go over to the Slideshow Cloner tab. So in here, we'll paste a TikTok slideshow link. And for example, I'm gonna do one of these. So I'm gonna take this link here, copy it, paste it over here. I'm gonna hit load post. So as you can see, it loaded up all of the slides for us. One thing we should change here is, for example, this last slide, which mentions the app. We're gonna mark it as the ad slide. And this is actually quite important. Let me explain the why. You could either have, depending on the type of slideshow, you could have your own image to go here, and you could decide on captions. So there are 3 options. Do you want AI to generate captions for you, or keep them the same every time? This is what I actually do the most. I actually recommend this because you want the ad slide to feel really polished, so you create the caption on your own. You think of something that works well, and you paste it in here, so the ad slide will look the same always. And what can change could be the content on here or the images below it. Or you would have like a list of different variations that work, and you write them and so on. But for starters, you can just have AI write them for you, whichever works for you, I guess. And you can upload your image here, as I mentioned. We can also tweak the captions, or we can either choose to keep the captions the same. So, do you have the same ad? Do you want to like just have the same captions as this one? Or make a slight tweak, or completely rewrite them. Add some instructions here depending on what your app is for the captions. I'm gonna keep them the same for this tutorial, and I'm gonna try and generate 3 variations. And naturally, I'm gonna mark off the ad slide because I don't have a slide to upload here. I'm just gonna go and regenerate the same post over just for the sake of this tutorial. As you can see, started generating, and there's some errors here, but we can't fix them. So for example, the text that you generated can be edited. You can like resize the line height, and we can change all of these styles here. So without selecting any text, we can go and change the size. We can change the type of text so it looks more like the original, and let's make it smaller. Let's resize the lines here, and as you can see, it starts to look a lot more like the original. We can maybe change out the positions on here. Yep, that's much better. And you should probably wait until everything is done, so then you can edit everything at once. So like I said, quick on styles, so everything changes to the same text style. We reduce the line height, and besides, let's reduce that again. Okay. So this should pretty much be close to ready to go. Alright, so that looks much better. And what we can do is hit download all, and that will give us a zip file with everything. And like I said, you could generate maybe 100 variations of these, and you can schedule them for like a month in advance. So here we have the folder with all of the variations of the images, so let's take a look at them. These are all of the images that AI generated for us. In here, of course, we still advertise the Now app, but you should change this to what your app is. The third part is how do you actually schedule them. You could go to the schedule tab here and schedule from a dashboard like you normally would, but the way I like to do it is through my AI agent. If you go into the CLI tab, you have the command to install this on your terminal, and that way you can have Claude or whatever agent you use manage and schedule posts for you. First, you gotta connect an account here. You read connect, and it will show up in the list below. Or you can send a link to somebody else so they can log in with your account that you're going to post, and that appears on the dashboard. So once you do that, you go to Claude and ask it to schedule for it. So let's paste in the link, which also contains your API key, so keep that safe. Let me open up Claude, and here's a useful command. Use this if you want to keep those annoying permissions. So what can we do here is that we can just reference Claude the folder where we downloaded the images, and ask it to schedule for us. So as you can see, it loaded up Social Cloud, and it's gonna schedule for us. Cloud scheduled all 3 posts, and it resides them properly for us. So if we head on over to inside the calendar, we can see the scheduled post that Claude added for us. And yeah, that's how you schedule with Claude and Social Cloud.